Right, I had to look online to see what the hell I need to do. I am so near the end and I missed one simple thing. I didn't realise how close I was to the end. No, that's not what I'm after.
I had a look through the Necrotelecomnicon discussed for students to see if I could find any more useful information. It wasn't long before I found the phrase that had been inscribed on the wall of the sepulchral temple. Quod nescient eos interficit. It turned out to be the motto of an ancient cult, the dark sect of Nylonathotep, whose emblem was the triple-lobed eye. The tome told me a little of the history of the cult. It seems the mad cultists of the Laddering Horror had conspired to destroy all creation, but their attempt failed, obviously, and they were believed to have faded into obscurity. I had a suspicion that's exactly what the cult wanted people to think. According to the book, the cult had a sacred artifact, a source of great power known as the Radiant Trapezohedron, which could destroy Nylonathotep or give him dominion over all things, if it fell into his tentacles. There was no description of it, although the author seemed to think it was something small. There was something about a cult plotting to destroy all creation that disturbed me. I had a feeling you couldn't reason with people like that. Just a few more. Have you heard of the Radiant Trapezohedron?
What is this being?
Well, I don't really know. It's a source of great power. That's the only thing I'm sure about.
What is being a trapezohedron to mean? It's a type of crystal in which all the faces are trapeziums.
And a trapezium? A type of quadrilateral with no parallel sides.
No, that's a trapezoid.
No, a trapezoid has two parallel sides of different lengths.
That's a trapezium.
No, it's not.
Where are your family from? Anywhere near Genua?
My grandfather was. What's that got to do with anything?
Genuine geometry has slightly different definitions to Ephebian geometry. I tend to go by Legibus's definitions in his geometries. Have you read it?
This trapezodendron. Trapezohedron. All sides would be consisting of squashed squares.
Well, that's a slightly crude summary, but essentially correct.
That's it. That's the jewel I am being seeking. Really? Much yesness. Just like that is being, but with gold platings. And you were looking for this, right? How close were you to finding it?
I am of some sureness that it is to being in Ankh-Morpork, and I am of the believing that this arrangement of stars is of great importantude in its discoverage.
Can I see that?
Please, take if you wishing. I am not to be having much chances to look myself now. I would be of delighted nature if you would continue the looking for me.
I think that is a star map.
Two-Conkers had given me a star map that was supposed to lead to the jewel he was looking for. I didn't know what to make of the map. I was never good at astrology.
And then that's what I need the thingy for.
I looked at the star map and back to the mosaics. The map seemed to include a constellation. All I had to do was find out which one and tell the golem to move the telescope to look at it. Well, it was a plan of sorts.
Looks like that one.
The small, boring group of faint stars was the least remarkable of all the constellations. I suppose the small, boring group of faint stars might have been on the map, but if they were, they'd been drawn much brighter than they really were. Swing the telescope around to face the small, boring group of faint stars. The stars seem to be pointing at the Selachi Mausoleum. If the map was right, the jewel was somewhere inside.
There we go. And that's what you need this for. They had the right idea because you can remember this bit.
I used the astrolabe to see exactly where Two-Conkers' map pointed. They seem to be indicating a grotesque in the entrance chamber. I don't know who thought it was tasteful to make carved statues that were part human and part mythical beast, but frankly, I thought they looked awful. I searched the grotesque carefully and concluded that it was a cover stone for something underground. I pushed it, opening up the crypt below. The stale air told me that this chamber hadn't been visited in hundreds of years. In the gloom, I could make out a single sarcophagus. On the sarcophagus was a circular indentation with a square peg coming out of it.
So what's the coins for?
I couldn't move the peg with my hands. The sarcophagus didn't look like any recent design. In fact, I was surprised to see one in Ankh-Morpork at all. It must have been imported from somewhere. The lid of the sarcophagus was sealed shut.
No, that's the grappling iron.
Mundy's coin fitted the indentation perfectly, and with it, I could easily turn the peg. There was a faint click, and the sarcophagus opened. Inside the sarcophagus was a suit of armor, grasping a glowing gem that could only be the radiant trapezohedron. I wasn't expecting the armor to burst into life, though.
Thanks a lot. 400 years I wait for you to come and let me out. And the first thing you do is cut my arm off. It'll take ages to sew back on.
I'm sorry. I just sort of acted reflexively.
So you instinctively cut the arm off people you meet?
If they come bursting out of a coffin, yes.
It's a sarcophagus. A very nice sarcophagus. Donated to the Order by some nice people in Jelly Baby.
And you're vitally impaired.
Vitally impaired? What's that supposed to mean? Hmm? Call a spade a spade. I'm a zombie. Right?
If that's the way you want it, I need that jewel.
I'm sure you do. But first, you must answer the riddle and prove your worth.
The riddle?
Indeed. Are you ready, mortal?
This is ridiculous. I'm in a real hurry and I need that jewel.
Oh, please. I've been here for 400 years. Please let me ask the riddle.
Make it fast.
All right. What is... Oh, bugger. I've forgotten it.
You've forgotten it?
Well, it has been 400 years. You see how good your memory is after 4 centuries. Especially when you've got mice.
Can I have the jewel or not?
No. I have to ask the riddle. How else am I going to know if you're a follower of the dark cults?
Let me get this straight. You can tell if I'm a follower of the dark cults by whether or not I can answer a riddle.
Absolutely.
So how does that work, then? Are the forces of darkness incapable of answering riddles?
I'm sure the gods would never allow the unworthy to gain control of this.
Interesting theory. Look, I need that jewel, and you're just going to have to find a way to give it to me.
The Order decided that we'd ask a riddle to determine the worthiness of anyone petitioning for the trapezohedron. I have to ask a riddle.
You mentioned the Order.
Yes. The Order of the Sacred Tulip. You must have heard of us.
Let me guess. You went out on rampaging crusades across other people's nations with some spurious religious purpose, and came back having stolen a fortune from so-called inferior nations, and then started getting involved in ecclesiastical politics on the proceeds,
Those were the days, Yep. You got it in one.
And the Order buried you with the trapezohedron.
That's right. They needed a guardian. And I volunteered.
You volunteered to be buried with the jewel for hundreds of years?
I thought it'd look good on my record.
Can't you just make a riddle up?
Well, there was one specific riddle I was supposed to be asking.
But since you can't remember it, you need a new plan. Why not just make one up?
All right. What is... No. Sorry. I can't do it. My mind's a blank. You know what it's like when you're under pressure to perform. You just can't do it.
The city is going to be destroyed because you don't perform well under pressure. I don't believe this. I figured after 400 years... What do you know about the goddess Errata? How about if I just tell you something about the jewel? Wouldn't that prove that I deserve it?
Go on.
Well, I know it's gold-plated, and that it says Unquam Paratus on it.
Anyone could have found that out.
If you don't give me this jewel soon, the whole city, the whole of creation, for all I know, is going to be destroyed by Nylon Athatep. Do you want that?
Of course not.
Well?
Well, I need proof that this entity is the threat that you say it is. I mean, there's entities, and there's entities.
Tell me, what were you before you became a knight? A civil servant of some sort, maybe?
I was a tax collector. How did you know?
Just a hunch. How come this sarcophagus wasn't protected by an Elver sign?
I didn't know how.
I could show you.
Oh. Would you?
Sure, for the jewel.
But if I give you the jewel, I don't need to protect the sarcophagus anymore.
And doesn't that sound good?
I'd like to discharge my duties properly first.
Then ask me the damn riddle.
No, sorry. I still can't remember it.
Stick to the mat. I know that the jewel is called the Radiant Trapezohedron. Doesn't that count for something?
No. Not really.
Stick. Look, I have the golden falchion. Surely that counts for something.
Oh, I knew you had the sword, but that's no help. If you're on the side of darkness and you have the falchion, then I definitely can't give you the jewel.
How did you know I had the sword?
I saw you coming in the jewel.
Really? Did you see anything else?
Oh, I've been watching the progress of the sword since I got here.
In which case you must have seen Mundy hide the sword in the crate, and me recover it from Vault 51.
Yes, I did.
So, you saw me killed by Anu Anu.
Oh, yeah. That big dog creature. How did you survive that, by the way?
Carlotta had turned me into a werewolf.
I thought it might be something like that. They never give you the whole story with those cliffhanger endings. I remember 200 years ago when I saw someone go off the cliff in a cart. Only it turned out he actually leapt clear at the last minute. I call that cheating.
Anyway, did you see when Anu Anu summoned Nylon Athatep?
Oh, I see. That's what the big cosmic horror was then.
What did you think it was?
Well, I thought it might just have been fog. The reception in here isn't very good.
If you saw all that, you must know that I'm not with the forces of darkness.
Hang on. You were there when this cosmic horror was summoned?
Yes.
Then why didn't you stop it?
I was being restrained. Come on, just give me the jewel.
No can do.
You saw me defeat Satrap, wasn't that enough? Didn't you hear what he said?
No sound with the jewel. I'm afraid you just get pictures.
Do you know what's most ridiculous about this? If I was with the Dark Sect, I'd just use the sword to kill you, and then just run off with the jewel.
You know, that's a very good point.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. Either give me the jewel freely, or I'll pretend I'm with the Dark Sects and I'll just take it.
You're not leaving me many options.
Jewel, please.
Here you go.
Yes.
Thank you. And may I say, I hope the next 400 years just fly by.